in a law office. I am neither a lawyer nor a paralegal, but I work as an administrative assistant. Working as an administrative assistant makes me encounter very interesting cases. One of the cases that our law office handles is about probate, or what happens to a person's assets when they die. Trust me, it can get ugly. Imagine family members fighting against each other over who will get what. This particular scenario is what's going to happen if a person does not have a will in place before they die. So that is why establishing one is very important. A will or a last will and testament is a legal document that enables an individual to control how his or her assets will be distributed after death. Regardless of how old or how young we are or how much assets we have, we should start making a will the soonest time possible. According to a law review article by attorney Karen Snedden published in April 2011, she said that if a person dies without a will, it will be based upon the court's decision on how his or her assets will be distributed after death. So, in order to avoid this scenario, we should really look into making a will. In order to emphasize more on the importance of having a will, we will look about the problems why people do not have a will. The problems that people can encounter if they do not have a will. Second will be the causes why people do not have a will. And last will be the solutions or the steps in order to make one. So most people think that writing a will is a hard thing to do, but actually it is not. According to Peter Vilyamu of eSign Articles published July 2011, he said that in order to write a will, you only need 3 requirements. First is it must be in a written form, meaning a hard copy, so you can write it, type it, or you can print it out. Second, you must sign the document. And lastly, you must sign it in front of 2 witnesses. So those are the 3 requirements. Even though writing a will is not that hard, people still do not have one, which can lead to several problems along the way. There are several problems that people can encounter if they do not have a will. First is family problems. If you are single and you die, your assets will be distributed to your parents. If you are married and you have children and you die, your assets will be given to your spouse and your children. Now that's not a problem. But what if you don't want them to be given to your family members or to a certain person? Say for example, if you live in with someone, such as your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you don't have children and then you die, your assets will still be given to your parents, even though it should have been given to your live-in partner. This particular scenario is what happened to my friend, Anna Garcia. In a telephone interview of her, April 2013, she said that when her boyfriend died, her boyfriend's assets were given to his family or parents, when in fact it should have been given to her. Another problem that people can encounter if they do not have a will is unequal distribution. This is where family feud happens, because family fight against each other over who will get this, who will get that. Now, we don't want that to happen to you. And lastly, if you intend to give your assets to several charities or organizations, you may not be able to do so if you do not have a will. According to Peter Johnson of the Reporter Journal published in 2000, he said that 18% of charitable organizations did not receive the money that should have been given to them because the donor didn't have a will before he or she died. So if you want to give your assets to certain charities and organizations, please make sure that you do have a will in place. Now those are the problems that people can encounter. Let's move on. Let's take a look at what are the causes why people still do not have one. We have 3 causes. First is fear of death. Let's face it, people do not want to think about the possibility of dying or death, right? Let alone their own death. In fact, according to Jill Duffy, who wrote the article Putting Your Final Affairs in Order in 2013, she said that a sizable majority of the population do not want to ponder upon the possibility of death yet. So this so-called fear of death hinders us from preparing for the inevitable. A second cause why people do not have a will is wrong impression. People have this mistaken notion that since we don't have a lot of assets, why should I make a will? That is not true. Whatever assets you have, whether money, car, insurance, artwork, and all that, you should have it in place. So this what happened to my friend in a personal interview of him, Miles Hill, in April 2013. He said that since he doesn't have a lot of assets to protect to, creating a will right now is not one of his priorities. However, according to John Ray of the Library Journal published in 2008, he said that no matter how much or how little assets we have, we should really start looking into making a will in order to protect those valuable assets. And the last cause why people do not have a will is simply because they do not know how to make one. In a personal interview of my friend Michelle Hanneman in April 2013, she said that even though she wants to make a will, she doesn't know how to. So that's a problem. If you are like Michelle and others out there, don't worry, there are a lot of resources online that you can look into in making a will. In fact, I will even show you how to make one. So these are the solutions or the steps in making a will. They're not that hard. We have three. First is we can write a will by hand. If we do this method, make sure that our handwriting is legible and there's no part of the will that's printed out or typed because that'll invalidate the will. What you have to remember is just sign the document, after putting the details of your will and whom are you going to give it to, and date it in front of 2 witnesses. The second solution or the step that you can do is you can download free legal forms online. For example, if you live in California, there's a document called California Statutory Will, and you can download it from the California Probate Code website, because according to the Probate Code published in 2000, you can read the instructions there, fill it out, and you have your ready-made will. And lastly, you can always ask for help from lawyers. In a YouTube video of attorney Robert Todd, uploaded May 2009, he said that lawyers can actually detail your will for you. So now that I've shown you the problems that people can encounter if they do not have a will, the causes and the solutions, I do hope that you will make one as soon as time possible. So you and I should start looking into making a will. Fortunately for me, since I work in a law office, I already have a will in place. Thank you very much.